not really You know, it's been 6 years since I've started my self-improvement journey. Back in 2017 is the first time when I actually heard of self-improvement. And to tell you the truth, I've made some progress. Would have been actually very sad if I didn't make any progress in 6 years, but I did make some progress. Now, the thing that I actually want to say is that a year or two ago, I actually didn't have that much progress from the 6 years. So it took me like 4 years, right, in self improvement to actually start making some progress in self improvement. Or maybe like 3 years, back when I was like 3 years into it, right? Now, that's crazy to me, right? Because, I've been aware for some time in my life, even during my childhood, that, some things are not right. My family situation, my personal situation during school, how I was like actually growing up and how certain things were. Basically, since me being like a little child, I was like more or less like aware that certain things were not supposed to be. And maybe you have it as well, maybe you don't. Maybe you have the feeling that everything is perfect in your life right now. So maybe that's the case, I don't know. You let me know. But for me, it was not the case. And to give you some context of my situation, how things were for me back then, talking about 2 or 3 years ago, when I actually started making some progress with self improvement, my situation was the following. I was like a guy who was like smoking weed, lots of weed, cigarettes as well. Did also like lots of tons of shits of other drugs, But I started with smoking. That was actually kind of like the moment I actually started seeing some progress was actually like the moment when I quitted like the hard drugs and the other stupid shit. But at the time I was like still smoking like pretty consistently. I had like a friend as well, my best friend back in the day. I'm not gonna mention his name, but I was smoking with him. We were actually together like kind of aware that certain things needed to change, and we were like kind of dedicated on like improving ourselves, right? But not really like proactively like taking action and doing things in our power to change or to actually like create sustainable change, right? We were not really like that we were like, well, we have it in our back in our head that we have to change, but in the meantime we're gonna smoke a blunt. That's who we were back then, right? um Anyways, I was like this guy who smoked a lot. I was this guy who also had like a friend who also smoked a lot and was kind of with me on a self-improvement journey, but we were actually not. We were just wasting our time and like, making fools out of ourselves. And besides that, there was actually not much going on in my life. I was smoking, also working a little bit, and all of my free time I had, I was like spending with this guy, smoking, sometimes pretending to improve ourselves. Back at the time, I was like still having like, I was still beatboxing. I still had like my beatbox thing. I'm a beatboxer, by the way. And that was my life until a certain day came. It was like this day where I was like suddenly not having it anymore at all. I was done with everything. I was just realizing that I was like, no different than a dog who was like trying to catch his own tail. I was running in circles. And I came across this video. It's Ross Rosenberg's video. And I also found out his book, The Human Magnet Syndrome. And there was like a big aha moment for me. I was like so, wow, shocked by the things I actually learned from that book. It's actually crazy. If you never heard of this book, basically this book is like about narcissistic people and codependent people and how this whole dynamic works all together. It's basically like the narcissist on one hand, and on the other hand, the codependent, or in other words, the people pleaser, the person who always says yes to everyone, everywhere, anytime. Yes, yes, yes. And that was me, right? And in that book, I actually learned that my friend had narcissistic personality traits. And as I was reading that book, I was like literally seeing my whole life like played up in that book. And I was like, no way. It was like this crazy aha moment where I was like, yo, my life is a mess and it's a joke, and there are so many things I'm not aware of. And this is like, a breakthrough moment for me, if I can say so about myself. It was like crazy how, shocked I was, and like for me, it was just so crazy to realize how stupid I am. I was like amazed by my stupidness, how unaware I am, and how much of a idiot I was actually, right? Wasting my time thinking I'm making progress, actually making zero progress, just doing the same shit over and over again, repeating the same circles, literally. And what I did is like, I just literally cut out this person out of my life. We were like about to meet. I had like the guts enough to go like face to face to him and like tell him like, yo, I'm ending this. And I didn't even give him like an explanation why or how, because the funny thing is that was actually what Ross was actually like suggesting. If you find yourself in a relationship with such a person, you just cut him off. That's like the best thing you can ever do for yourself, and then start your healing journey. Anyways, I found out about this guy. I cut this guy, my friend, basically my ex-best friend. It was like a 7-year bestie relationship I had with this guy. I did everything. I cut this guy out of my life. And I was like, okay, what's now? What's next, right? And not so long ago, a friend I haven't seen for more than a year, probably like a year and a half, calls me and is like, yo, I need some money. That was back like in 2020, summer 2020 that was. For some reason, lots of people were like struggling like financially. And this was actually like not the first person who asked me. But yeah, the person asked me like, yo, can I borrow some money? I'm gonna give it to you right back. I was like, yeah, sure. I had good vibes with this person, even though I didn't met him for like more than a year and stuff. Anyways, we met and we had a talk, right? I told this person like, yo, look, I'm actually like facing like this challenge right now in my life, and this is what's happening. I just cut out like, my best friend I've ever had. 7 or even 8 years we were besties, and now it's done. And this friend of mine was actually also kind of in a very similar situation. Not really, but this person was actually going through a breakup, and yeah, the person was devastated. It was like a 2-year relationship. Of course, like I was like not intimate with my friend, but yeah, it was also like my best relationship kind of, because at the time I didn't have a girlfriend. I've never had a girlfriend, right? I was like, yeah, my bromance partner, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, we were basically like talking to each other, and this person, when I met him, and this person told me about his breakup, I was like kind of inspired actually by what I was hearing, because this person, was also into self-development, like finding his way on self-improvement and trying to become like this better person. But this person was actually doing like the opposite things from the things I was doing, right? In typical self-improvement, at least back then, and I'm pretty sure still that's the case, they promote like think positive, tell yourself you're a happy man and you will be happy, those kinds of stuff. And to tell you the honest truth, that helps to a certain degree. Like if you're in a bad mood and you tell yourself maybe be happy, you maybe start like identifying the happy things, and maybe that can help you, right? Yes, I'm not taking away from that. That's definitely the case. But what inspired me from the conversation I was having with my friend was the fact that this person was super honest with himself, right? And it was actually something I haven't seen anywhere else. It was to the point where this person was like admitting his mistakes like I've never heard before. It was like just super honest, because usually when we are in fault, we are not honest, and we like try to find ways to maybe like communicate things in a way where we seem like the winner out of the story, right? But in this person's case, it was not the case. This person was like, very honest about it, and yeah, just identifying like his actual mistakes. And the thing I learned from this is that you actually have to be honest with yourself, because after that I met up with this person multiple times. I had like great conversations. I actually still do have till the day of today actually with this person. Still, it's my best friend, one of my best friends at the moment for sure. And it made me realize like, yo, what if I turn the mirror towards myself and ask myself the question like, yo, am I actually like honest with myself? Am I telling the truth, right? Because it's like very honest, very easy. It's like very easy to look at others, how others makes mistakes, and it's very hard to actually identify your own mistakes. And I turned up the mirror on myself, and I realized that actually my friend who was like the narcissist, because like in the book from Ross, right, it gets promoted in a way where the narcissist is like having more kind of responsibility in the dynamic and is like more involved. He's not saying it like literally, but from reading the book, that's how I like interpreted it. And basically I came to the point like, oh, the narcissist is more at fault, and you as little codependent yes sayer, people pleaser are basically like more innocent. But from analyzing the dynamics more, I actually realized that it's like more of a 50-50 game, where you actually like complement each other's issues in each other. It's like a dance kind of a thing, right? The dance cannot happen without one of the partners, whether it's the people pleaser or the narcissist. So that made me realize like, yo, I'm not honest with myself. And it's like a big, very big rabbit hole. Like if you ask yourself like, how honest am I with myself, you can go like many directions with this. But this is how I actually discovered shadow work. And I have to tell you, this is actually the thing that produced the most lasting results on my personal development, personal growth journey. Like I'm pretty sure if it was like not for this, that I wouldn't be probably able to talk in front of a camera. Mind you, I'm like someone who has been severely depressed, had insane social anxiety. I didn't even have like the courage to look people in the face, let alone like try to make a video or talk to you. I was like, it's to the point where I like even cannot recall what type of a person I was, right? It's like I changed so much, even if I'm saying that about myself, and I know it's weird maybe. I changed a lot, and it's to the point where I'm like, yo, I wish this for other people as well, because then I'm thinking like, so many people are like trying to become better versions of themselves, right? But don't actually acknowledge what's truly going on with themselves, right? Not being honest, not looking at things inside themselves, the issues they're having and going through, not looking at those things and like not taking them for what they are. And to me, it's like no different than the bird that just goes like, with his head into the ground and like pretends or like thinks that the problem is gone, right? To me, it's like crazy. Please let me know if you know the name of the bird. I cannot recall what it is. Like the bird with the big eggs. Please let me know in the comments below. I really want to know. But yeah, that's stupid to me. Like if you really want to fix your issues, right? If you really want to become a better person, if you really want to stop please people, which was in my case, or you really want to, dissolve these traumas for good and, be done with it, you really, in my opinion, shadow work is like the answer to all of it. Because what shadow work actually is like basically acknowledging parts inside of yourself you have disacknowledged, right? Or you have like forgotten, or you have like put away, or basically like things about yourself you have forgotten. It's that everybody has a shadow, and we pretend that it's like not there, but it's there, and it's like it's having so much influence on us, right? The only thing about it is that it's in the shadows, and it's like, yeah, how do you approach it? It's like your subconscious. It's like rooted deep inside of you, right? And so I continued my journey on self-improvement with shadow work, and I started identifying patterns. Now, if you're not familiar with shadow work, in shadow work, what you're actually trying to do is like look at certain patterns that your shadow self, with the shadow, we recall to those parts inside of you which you're like not aware of, those shadow parts of you, right? For instance, I'm gonna give you an example with me. For me, I used to be insecure about my legs. Super stupid, super crazy actually, now that I think back of it, But yeah, I have like kind of X-shaped legs, right? Where like my knees go kind of like this, And I was like so insecure about that, but I didn't know why. And with shadow work, you start actually digging deeper in the why these things happens. There are certain techniques and ways to do that, which I'm not gonna cover now. If you want me to make videos on those, please let me know in the comments down below. But you basically like start digging deeper into those things. And sometimes you will remember how those patterns got shaped. In my case, for this specific example, it did. It did reveal itself why I actually was feeling like this. I did remember. I actually managed to remember that, when I was like 12 or 13, someone bullied me like crazy for my legs, and he made even like super fucked up comments, super bad comments on my legs, you know, and he was like, ew, your legs are like this, bro, you're messed up. That's what he told me, I remember. And it's crazy to think of it, because, you know, so much time passed. It's like when I was 13, and this stupid belief of me that my legs are like wrong and not good enough and messed up basically was actually still running me till my 20s. And that's crazy to think about it. Like something that happened 7 years ago is actually like still ruling you and making you feel a certain way, right? And that's what was crazy to me. And so there are lots of these patterns. Your life is actually also ruled by someone who bullied you at school, someone who gave you like, I don't know, a weird comment on a certain thing, and lots of other things your parents, you know, gave you and, you know, made you go through, and school and so much more, life in general basically. And you know, so for me it's crazy, because thinking of it, you know, so many people are facing today's challenges, especially as a Gen Z, right? Like for instance, depression, mental health issues, people who are like purposeless and don't like really know what to do with their life, people who don't really feel fulfilled, people who are just, you know, living in this big blur, who are every day on social media, feel lonely, don't go outside, have social anxiety, and so many more issues, right? And for me, it's crazy that this doesn't get addressed. And if I may say so about my own experience, shadow work is something that opened so many doors. It opened my, you know, it helped me with my social success, because I was so bad. I was like, I wish I could maybe I can show you in the future something about myself, how I was. So, you know, but I was so bad with my social situation, right? My thoughts, how I was, you know, like my self-image, my self-esteem. I had zero self-esteem. I never believed in myself and that I can achieve certain things, right? Let alone do the things that I'm doing right now. And so many more things, which I don't even have like, you know, I would probably make like a list. So I'm pretty sure you yourself are going through a lot of trouble or issues or problems right now. And as a Gen Z or as a young adult, we know best what those problems are. So I hope this inspires you. I hope this motivates you to also go on this journey. If you're done also, right? Like if you're done with your problems, if you're done suffering, if you had it, you know, if you can just say like, I'm done with this stuff, I really want to change, I'm done suffering, I'm done going through the same problems over and over again. And basically, if you really want to make, you know, actual change in your life for the better, to make your life actually cooler and better and just way more fulfilled than it actually is right now, if I can say so, shadow work is the answer. Because then you go to the root, you identify what the problem is, you see why you're having a problem in the first place, and then you tackle the issue. But yes, that's my message to you. So I hope this brought you value. Let me know in the comments down below if that's the case. Let me also know if that's not the case. You let me know what your thoughts are down below. Either way, I wish you all the best. Take care. If there is something, let me know in the comments down below. For the 5th time, take care.